Good evening, everybody. We have another King's Dream pop-up show where we have Miss Mama Oladeji. How you doing tonight?
Well, I was looking
All right,
forward to this, so
all
I'm
right.
doing well.
That's good. That's good. Why don't you? We gonna start off with you. Why don't you let the audience out there, people in the chat, out here in the world, know who is Mama Oladeji?
But I usually don't talk about myself, but I did send you a bio.
I know, but we would like to personally hear from Mama Oladeji.
Okay, well, yeah, that's why I sent you the bio so you could, get a little idea of what people think. Because I mean, you can say anything about yourself, but it's not what you say about yourself; it's what people say about you.
But it's all
So,
about what you say
I mean,
about yourself, you know?
about myself is just I'm a poet. I'm a grandmother. I love people. I would read to you what they say about me. Um, I'm real proud of what people say about me. And I don't, I really can't judge myself, but I can tell you that um, what people have said about me in their statements that they've written to me makes me feel like I'm making a difference in the world. I can just say
Okay.
so. So that's just about how I feel about myself. I'm a old school. I believe in poetry, starting with Paul Laurence Dunbar. Um, he's my mentor, and he's paved the way for a lot of poets.
Mhm.
Uh, I keep his book with me all the time. My grandmother passed down uh, Paul Laurence Dunbar to all her children, and Paul Laurence Dunbar was passed down to me from uh, from my parents or from my mother.
Okay.
So uh, that's basically how I got started in poetry. I came up with poetry basically all my life.
Yeah. So how do you feel about poetry nowadays?
Nowadays, there's some good poets, and there's some people that just play with poetry. I call it pornetry. It's not poetry, so it's two different categories. But
Okay.
there's some real good poets out here that's carrying black poetry to another level, and
Hmm.
I'm real proud of them. Um, and there's some poets out here just want to be in the game. They don't really have anything to contribute other than just like talking about what you know kind of sex like they're experiencing, and it's not in a very poetic way. But basically, it's not eccentric, it's not erotica, it's not sensual, it's just plain junk. But so we don't want to dwell on that because there's less of that and more of the good stuff. So many good poets out here, uh, 21st century poets doing
Okay.
21st century poets thing. Um, I'm not going to start naming people because that wouldn't be fair if I leave somebody out. But there's a lot of good poets
Well,
in Clubhouse. There's a lot of good poets on Facebook, and there's a lot of good poets on IG. So,
well,
um,
me coming from Harlem, I've seen different genres of poetry. I've heard many different variations of poetry. Like I said, I grew up in Central Harlem, so you've had poets that speak in different languages of the art form of the craft. You
mhm.
know, everything is not always for everybody. That's what I learned. You had the street poets. You know what I'm saying? You had the political poets. You had the activism, that people that advocated for others. So I mean, I always just say to each his own. You know what I mean?
But
Just
no,
know, just know who you are. You
no, it's
know?
not a matter of to each his own. It's a matter of I like every last bit of every type of poetry from rap to hip hop. I'm a versatile person. But coming into with the world of poetry, there's still a difference. When you ask me about poetry, I'm not going to include poetry. I'm
Oh,
not going to include how long your throat is. I mean, that's not poetry to me. So
okay.
excluding that, and I'm talking about real poetry,
All right.
sophisticated, intelligent, funny, humorous, or whatever, political, whatever. We're talking about poetry. That's
All
all I'm
right.
saying.
Yeah. So how do you feel about your poetry?
I feel my poetry is versatile. I do hip hop, I do rap, I do classical. As a matter of fact, one of my books is a rants and lyrics.
Okay.
Another one of my books is love and spirituality. I have
Okay.
5 books out, and this one is politics. But I only
All
got
right.
3 of them
So
with me because I gave all the rest of them are gone. But
from the
yeah. So basically, I cover all areas.
all right.
I even do sensual. I do all areas. Um,
So so one of the things that I know you've been in the activism. I would love to hear one of those poems where about our people. You know what I mean? Like, because I know you Afrocentric, you're very spiritual, and you know I know you got a way of just expression. You kind of remind me of my aunt. You know what I'm saying? Very powerful with the words and say how you want to say it and bring it forth. You know what I mean? I grew up in the '70s, so I'm used to that right here to your face type
okay.
of.
Um, I have one here called "What Are You Defending?" I have one called "Just Like Harriet,"
Okay.
and then I have one here called "Stifle."
Okay.
Maybe I'll read "Stifle" first.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate that out here.
There are secrets to be uncovered in the rainforest. Something is mushrooming from a medicine tree. What goes on in the woods and jungle while we hustle and bustle? Pacing the pavement like ants, never to become one with the mighty trees, the buzzsaws and blades working to create another beautiful mall, while I cannot breathe. These earthly home wreckers are earth disturbers. My environment is clinging on, holding on for dear life. Rats share space with me. Viruses fill the air on subways, yet right here on this small planet, I could tap tonic from trees. Earth is choking, she's crying, I cannot breathe. So many secrets to be uncovered in the rainforest. Something mushrooming from a medicine tree. Something mushrooming from a medicine tree could cure us, but I am forbidden to reveal. I feel I may never get to feel the cleansing of a forest breeze. I chant to feel that which has left my womb and disappeared. Summon the spirit of the unknown, secrets to come enter into my energy field. Take me to the place where I may see streams of pure water, hear the calling of ancient voices, and play in red clay, molding clay pots and weaving fabrics on my loom. There are secrets that could mend us, could heal us, with the knowledge of the leaves and the roots and the red dirt and the water. We can know all things that lie in the thick, streaming lakes instead of cesspools. We have tonic water and mushroom juice. We never had a chance on these cemented grounds, pacing back and forth like ants, killing habitats and creating havoc. Can you plant a small tree in Manhattan for me? For him? For them? They put us here and now they leave. They bathe in natural fountains. Now it's them that are draped in gold and amber. They put a damper on our habitat, plundered all the earth, replaced grass with turf, while my bare feet know not the grass nor the soil. The stench and debris arise from pavements in boiling heat, blocking the charge that would release this negative energy from my feet. Stifle by Mama Oladeji.
Okay. All right. Hold on. I have a question. How do you feel about art imitating life or life imitating art?
How do I feel about it?
Yeah. Which do you think art imitates life or life imitates art?
It does both. Sometimes we do things and cause it to happen, and sometimes things happen and cause us to do things. It depends on what the universe has in store. Sometimes we might get a premonition to do something, and then art will become of that. Or we might get see a piece of art and inspiration will come from that. So it goes both ways. But we don't, it's like what comes first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah. I There's really no wrong or right answer to that. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right,
just right there. You
right.
know. So this is a question that we ask a lot of poets that come on the show. You know, just to get hear everyone's answer. You know.
Okay, well,
So you know, but that's what's up on us. So how long you been doing poetry?
since I was probably 8 years old, like I said, started with Paul Lawrence Dunbar.
Mm-hmm.
He's my mentor. Um, he's from Ohio here, and my grandmother um, started reading him and teaching her kids, and then they passed it down to us. By the time I was 8 years old, I could recite 6 pages of Paul Laurence Dunbar. He was the first Black poet laureate of the United States.
Yeah.
He spoke in dialect as well as proper English. They have Dunbar University, they have Dunbar Library, and Dunbar Street in Dayton, Ohio. And he was an elevator operator that excelled to become the first Black poet laureate of the United States. All other poets basically take off from him, including Maya Angelou.
Mm, I hear that. I hear that. So when you first started out, like writing your poetry, how did you feel about it? Did you feel like you was good enough to compete with the upper archy, or you felt like I need to learn more because these guys are top notch?
I always felt like I need to learn more, but there wasn't too many people over me because I'm about the oldest person in the building. So
Yeah.
I never wrote to compete. I always wrote to teach what I knew, and
Hmm.
whatever I found out about, I would always write it into a poem to make sure that everybody else knew about it too.
Okay, so you never saw it like a competition. You just felt like, what I'm
No,
saying, this is all how we all banding together to each one teach one.
well, I just like I said, I never had anybody to compete with.
Yeah,
I was like one of the older poets back in the day.
yeah,
So I'm 74 years old. It's not
yeah.
like, you know,
God bless. God bless.
not too many people older than me.
Yeah,
So I said, I never wrote to compete. I always wrote to teach.
but yeah, I never see poetry as a competition. I just see it as we're all in a cipher. You know
Now,
what I'm saying?
if I'm doing, like they call it, spitting some lyrics or something with the kids, I'll play with them and get in the cipher. But then, like me and Written in Pain, he's one of my adopted sons. Like him, he had a show called Breathing Through Paper, and at the end of the show, me and him used to battle rap or do whatever, but we'd just be playing. But
Yeah,
he made me get a step one day, so because when they started calling it spit, right? He said he was spitting it, so he said, "Well, Mama, I'm spitting, but you drooling," and I'm like, "What?" So he was like, he made me, so he was teasing me because I was old. But so basically, he's the only one I really ever battle rap with. He did some sneak attacks on me when
yeah.
we were at Poetry Fest. He came in with the camera and caught me off guard doing some rap and stuff. But other than that, I never really seriously battle rap with anybody. Even though I
So
got even though I got some serious lyrics though.
so you had fun with it. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the
Yeah,
fun
I
of the
have fun with it.
craft.
But I got some serious lyrics though that could stand up into a battle, but I just don't use them for that purpose.
Yeah. That's how I look at poetry though. I look at it as very fun, it's active, and I mean, you can write for society. You know what I'm saying? That's what I always call myself. a soldier of society, a
Okay,
poetical a poetical journalist. You know, so
I like that.
yeah, so we would love. I would love to hear another one of your poems. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, we out here. You know what I'm saying? Us youth of today. So when we give flowers to our elders, we like to give a salute, and we just love to hear what they have to say. You know what I mean?
Okay. I'm trying to pull one up. You said you wanted some revolutionary poetry. So I'm pulling one up now for you. Uh,
Okay, we thank you.
I had my poetry all picked out for you, but since you want this particular type, I'm gonna give you what you want. So
Okay.
just hold on to one. See, this one, yeah, I guess I could do this one while I wait for that to pull up. Uh, I'm gonna do this one called Just Like Harriet,
Okay.
and it's a tribute to Harriet Tubman.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Mama Oladeji will be right back with us as she get poetry together. Thank you for your patience and your time. Oh, Miss Miss Oladeji must have dropped. Must be having technical difficulties, but in the meantime, I will recite one of my poems, which is called Doorways. Beyond what you saw yesterday, my tomorrow can be your future. Present moment can guide you into exactly what you have been looking for. Extract the definition of a name that remained under different monikers. Capture the visual, undress your feelings until emotions sit right next to you. The alignment is accurate before you ride, touch the interior. Have a seat, make sure you're comfortable in the seatbelt of desire. No requirement in this environment. Area of conversation unique. If a dialogue have you smile hard, can I invite myself to your past life? Remembering what I should know, taking deep breaths that are very slow, closing my eyes, hearing your verbal notes, inhaling thoughts that feel real close. Embrace all sides of me, interdimensional route and pathway. Together become a tidal wave that bring a day and a half to speak and say. King, Mr. Joel Washington Atterbury. Uh, so I would just like to make an announcement also. Stay tuned tomorrow, which is Friday, 10 p.m., as we have the Poetry Corner Snap Off with our guests and also host Valerie Lorraine. It's going to be something to tune into, and it's going to be very exciting. And that's Eastern Time. Okay, Miss Oladeji is back.
Okay, I was in the middle of reading Just Like Harriet, and forces that were against us probably didn't want me to read this about this important woman and how she carried herself. So here we go.
All right.
I'm just like Harriet. Even if she had to pull out her pistol, she came for you. Even if she had to get you to safety as you kicked and screamed, over 19 times she made the trip, even as it seemed that you didn't understand what freedom meant, she came for you. Even if you never knew that you were a slave, she was there for you. Just like Harriet, I am here for the love of you. I am here to enlighten you, even if you Even if I have to frighten you, sometimes fear is a motivator. Harriet Tubman said, if you hear the dogs behind you, keep going. If you see the torches in the woods, keep going. If there's someone shouting behind you, keep going. Don't ever stop, keep going. If you want to taste freedom, keep going. Harriet Tubman says she had freed a lot more slaves, but she would have freed a lot more slaves, but they didn't even know they were slaves. And so I say to the modern day slaves, when they shoot down our babies on the streets and call it stand your ground, raise more than your eyebrows, when the neighborhood's oldest cultural performing arts center is now adjacent to America's most capitalistic bank, right across from the newly built juvenile detention center, that means they are ready to conquer and control our future and our talented youth. Stop confounding our think tanks. Though many artists made it to the pinnacle, many never came back to pay dues to their neighborhoods or caramel. Obligations quite clinical. Unlike Harriet, many never looked back or carried others over the track. As a matter of fact, they seemed quite cynical. Keep signing those petitions. So believing the worst of your own kind or humankind is a slave mentality, never realizing that they were not free, sneering at Harriet's motives as to why she over 19 times went back for others who then themselves offered no relief, but always in disbelief towards sisters and brothers. It's so annoying, but help them anyway. Just like Harriet, keep going. Stand with black and white and poor farmers who have been cheated out of their land, snatched from their hands by the powers that be. And even when a simple apple tastes differently because of the genetic engineering, the FDA needs replacements. Be powerful and stand. Write letters to the lobbyists. Wrong and right have nothing in common. There is no middle ground. Our children are being left out of the bargain. These new charter schools are causing them problems. Step up to the plate. Pick up the bat. Demand reforms on mortgages and tax. Let the world hear you rant. Some impoverished diseased person sells their hair desperately for a few bucks, and because you think their hair will make you look better, you see it packaged in the hood for $300, and you buy into that. Do not do that. Just keep going. Your favorite entertainer is now a sellout. Don't keep going with this sick flow. Helping a sellout to sell you out is ludicrous. Still calling women the B words. You keep going, don't buy it. Keep on going, own your flow. McDonald's is selling fish, don't trust that. Keep going. Gucci in the window of the Chinese store, don't shop there. Run, do not stop there. Keep going. Watch out for the snares in life. Many are visible. Your money is being calculated way before you spend it. Avoid the traps. Keep it moving. The system. Have your reactions and behaviors down like fingerprints. They know what you are buying. They even help to implement it. Having you to buy into hedonism while your children's college fund is none. When the urge to buy stupid hits you, ignore it and be strong. Hold your head high. Don't walk, run to safety. If you truly want to be free, just keep going. When you know you're still being sold as a commodity, producing nothing, buying what you cannot afford. Stop the madness and the slave mentality. The words from my mouth is like a bullet from Harriet's gun. I want to help many, many more to realize, but first they must recognize the distraction of wealth is buying into a slave mentality. Solution, just keep going. That's that piece.
All right. All right. That was definitely on point. You know, I have a poem that I know you haven't heard me spit in a long time, so I'm gonna I'm gonna give you my one with the poetical journalist, the society soldier, King Atterbury. Look into the world, take notice, and take flight with your perspective of how you see society. So many came and fell from point A, never hitting B. Won't ever kill my legacy, I'm too high off of ecstasy. Natural true element, forgotten, compound, here I am. A chemical walking spiritual entity that now stands. Day my flesh rests, I'm still the best version of me. Rejuvenated from mystic sleep, no need to open eyes and see. Clarity provided and proven in fourth and first quarter. Third got them swimming in emotions off the second merger. Some turn their back, my disbelief is wild, silent speech. My Kenny Skywalker ability to dunk and reach. Sort of like a home run, no longer do I play the sport. Football shenanigans left me stranded with aggressive thoughts. So now I play the game without shuffling cards off intuition. It's all about stop, look, and listen, knowing your position. King.
It's all about stop, looking, listening, knowing your position. Those are some dope lines right there.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
like that. I like that. Wow,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
So
put that in my I have a page on Facebook called My Favorite Poems by Other Poets. If you find that
okay.
page, drop that poem in there for me.
All right. Yeah, you got to send me the link later when I.
It's on
But
Facebook. It's called My Favorite Poems by Other Poets.
okay, my favorite poems. I'll look it up and when I.
Okay, yeah,
Well,
drop that in there. I would love to
yeah,
have that in my repertoire.
yeah. We appreciate having you. I mean, like I said, we always respect our elders and we always want to give flowers to our elders and whatnot, to show that appreciation. So let me ask another question. Where do you see the poetry going nowadays, and how do you see the world?
Well, like I said, it was going in a different direction, but I still loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't agree with the, like I said, the pornetry. I think Black people can stand for more than just like talking about sex all the time and how deep their throats are, or what they could, how long they could do this, or how they could. It's just getting to the point where it's taking its toll away from the good poetry and the good creative stuff and going into a different direction. And most of the time it's because people don't want to take the time to use their creative talent to go somewhere else. They just want to do what you call um, shock value. But and at this point, it's not even shocking anymore. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we done heard so many stories about, pornetry that it's not even shocking anymore. Like, oh wow. It's not even, it doesn't even turn us on. It gets aggravating. So I just hope that people get back to doing real poetry. And even if they're doing sensual poetry, which I do as well, do it in a way that is sensual and beautiful and make people feel like, wow, that's beautiful and sensual. Not want to just go somewhere and throw up in the toilet. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, how do you see the world right now? I know we got a lot going on. So I mean, what is your take on the world as we are living in right now, today's
Well,
society?
basically, we have too much to face and too little tools or weapons to fight back with. So I think basically what we have to do is we can't fight everything at one time. We have to just take what confronts us. If the day is too hot, the global warming is confronting us. If they're manipulating the weather, if they're taking the nutrition out of the food and not giving us real nutritious food anymore, where, our bodies are suffering from lack of this and lack of that.
Mm.
I say, learn to supplement. Start growing your own garden. That's what we do. Even though my daughter did all that, and she still died from lack of potassium because she
Yeah.
fasted too long. So sometimes even doing all you can won't even work. When it's your time, but at least put up a good fight.
Right.
They've taken all the grandfather seeds and put them in seed banks. You see, all the watermelon don't have black seeds in them anymore.
Mm.
Um, um, those black seeds were important. Um, the food is not the same. The chicken has got steroids, and so everything is different. So we have to
Yeah.
really regulate our bodies and our minds to um, to accept that things are different, and we have to
Right.
compensate in a different way. That means
Yeah.
we have to study and learn how to cope with what. And then when you got people out there talking and telling you what to do, if you notice, they end up disappearing. So
Mm.
yeah, so
Right.
you just have to be knowledgeable. Um, Even the things that your grandmother told you,
Right.
certain things that she told you, just got to remember. A lot of times you forgot more than you remember stuff that you forgot, and you'll realize you know more than you think you do.
That's true. That's very true. And, do you feel like our people need to once again get up and stand up and fight for
Well,
what's right?
it's not even a matter of getting up and standing up at this point because we've done that, we've marched, we've sang, we've done all that. Right now, it's like you just have to write, you have to sign petitions, you have to vote, you have to do everything in a political way. You have to do things in numbers. You
Mm.
know, just wa- marching down the street singing "Kumbaya" is not going. It's not the same as it was back then. They just going to put the dogs on you and shoot you down and drive cars into you, or whatever. Is Even when these children are getting killed and the parents try to stand up, they threw a couple of the parents in jail because
Mm.
they were there protesting about their child getting killed by the police for nothing. So it's just like a matter of we have to do things differently. We have to write letters. We have to do activism in a different way.
Right.
We have to stop falling, like I said in the Just Like Harriet poem, we just have to stop falling for the material things. We have
Mm-hmm.
to give our children, put the money up for our children, do college funds instead of Brazilian hair.
Mm.
We just have to change our way of thinking.
Right.
And like I said, we can't just be represented as, you know, ignorant people that, the N word. We can't just keep on calling ourselves that. We have
Right.
to get past that. That's not us. That name is not acceptable, and it causes people to treat each other that way. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you feel
Yeah.
if you just go into a crowd of people and shoot, and the only person gets hurt is us, then it's no big deal because it was just a bunch of N words. So we have to think differently about who we are. Back in the day when we called each other kings and queens, brother and sister, if we could even get back to that, you know,
Right.
um, that would be a great big help.
That's very true. On that, we on our way. I mean, in my generation, we on our way. We still got more to learn, but we on our way. You know what I mean? We in remembrance mode. You know what I mean? Like you said, what you learn from your grandparents, and you get that reflection point. You like, yo, I remember Grandpa used to say this. Grandma was like this. So we on our way. You know what I mean? So you elders, hold on when I admit it. Like, just we coming. You know what I mean?
Okay.
We coming. But listen, I greatly appreciate you coming on. And like I said, we wanted to just give you your flowers and everything. We love you. And stay tuned. We got a lot more coming down the road on that. You know what I mean? So
Okay. Well, I'm also a jeweler. I do jewelry. This is black onyx and amber. And this is
okay.
like African trade beads and stuff I have on to show that that's my other love, that's the things I really like doing. And like I said, I do um, some what they call rap poetry. I don't just do, plain conscious poetry. Like I said, each of my books have a different style in it. So I just say that all the poets be versatile, don't get stuck. Um, Study the old poets and learn to enjoy them. And let's keep it moving, in a positive direction. It's
Okay.
poetry.
And let everybody know where they can find you, how they can contact you for your jewelry or anything whatsoever that's you got going.
My contact on Facebook is under Vicky Aqua. My poetry is on Poetry Soup. I'm also a member of Frontline Poets on Clubhouse. So you can find me just if you Google Vicky Aqua, ACQUAH, you will find me almost anywhere. Mama Oladeji. Um, just Google Vicky Aqua, aka Mama Oladeji. You'll find me almost anywhere. I get around.
Yeah. Well, all right, Poetry Corner World. Here y'all have it, Miss Mama Oladeji. And it's been great out here. Stay tuned. We'll see you next week for the Poetry Corner. Matter of fact, excuse me. We'll see you tomorrow night, 10 p.m. for the Poetry Corner Snap Off.
Okay.
It's gonna be extravagant. Eastern time though. So as I always say, peace, love, and poetry. And we out of here.
Thank you for having